The mind is a vessel, it is a fire, it is a chariot pulled by wild horses. With imagination alone, we can travel anywhere, back through memory, forward into vision, outward into realms unseen. This is not metaphor. It is the first and most enduring human technology. Imagination built our temples, our myths, our art. It carried shamans into the underworld and saints into the heavens. It gave us the dream of flight long before we built wings of metal. It gave us the vision of justice long before the laws were written. Imagination, this subtle capacity of mind, is the bridge between what is and what could be. But left untrained, the same mind can entrap us. It loops, it obsesses, it spins stories of fear and lack, phantoms that drain our energy, phantoms that begin to feel more real than the world itself. This is the misuse of mind, and we live in an age that rewards it. Our technologies are designed to capture imagination, to hijack attention, to keep the mind endlessly churning, endlessly consuming images that do not nourish. Our culture profits from distraction, from obsession, from the restless, unmoored mind. But this is not new. Every wisdom tradition warned of it, and the Buddha named it directly. Suffering begins in the restless mind. The yogis described the chitta vrittis, the whirlpools of thought, that cloud perception. The Greeks spoke of phantasia, the images of the mind that could mislead as easily as they could inspire. In Christian monastic traditions, the monks spoke of the logismoi, thought demons that could seduce, confuse, or overwhelm the heart. Across cultures, the teaching is the same. The mind has power. The question is, how do we use it? The Buddhists spoke of right mind, or samyak smriti, right mindfulness. The Greeks spoke of sophrosine, balance, temperance, clarity. The Taoists spoke of Shin, the heart mind in harmony with the way. Right mind is not the absence of imagination. It is not a sterile emptiness. It is alignment. It is the capacity to harness imagination, to ride it like a wave, to steer the wild horses instead of being dragged by them. Because imagination is not frivolous, it is generative. It is how we dream the future. And when imagination is guided by clarity, by right mind, it becomes a tool for vision. It becomes medicine. Modern psychology tells us this too. Cognitive science shows that imagination is rehearsal, that the brain does not easily distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is lived. This is why athletes practice in visualization, why trauma is healed through reimagining, why future selves can be conjured into being through the act of visioning. Imagination shapes reality because it shapes us. Our choices, our perceptions, our possibilities all follow the pathways imagination lays down. So the real question is, who is piloting the vessel? Who is holding the reins of the wild horses? If we let the culture steer, we will be carried endlessly into loops of fear, distraction, desire. But if we reclaim the reins, if we remember the ancient practices of right mind, then imagination becomes something else entirely. It becomes a force of orientation. It becomes a compass. It becomes the way we participate in the dreaming of the world, because the world is always being imagined into being. And the state of the collective mind shapes the state of the collective future. This is why the ancients trained the mind with such rigor. Meditation was not simply relaxation, it was cultivation of right mind. Prayer was not simply petition, it was alignment of thought, word, and heart. Ritual was not empty repetition, it was the shaping of imagination into shared vision. And so the invitation is clear: to wake up to the power of mind, to recognize imagination as a sacred tool, to cease the misuse of mind as endless worry, endless distraction, and to reclaim right mind, because right mind does not silence imagination. It tunes it, it hones it, it turns the wildfire of thought into the hearthfire of vision. And in this age where the imagination of the culture is saturated with screens, where the collective dream is riddled with fear and scarcity, to practice right mind may be the most radical act of all. It is how we stop being passengers in someone else's dream. It is how we become navigators again. It is how we live, not asleep, but awake, not imprisoned by thought, but transported by it.